Hey everybody, it's Lavender Town, and today is the next video in the series where I turn random stuff into cute character designs. A few weeks ago I promised to do all these zodiac signs into character designs, and this is the third and final video, so if your sign hadn't been done yet, this is your video. Thank you for being patient. Okay, so we're gonna start with Capricorn, and Capricorn is our earth sign for the video. In each video I had been doing a fire, air, water, and earth sign because they're all split up into 4, and it just seemed like a neat way to pick which ones I was gonna do each video. So I hadn't done a lot of older looking characters, and that's kind of what I was going for here for a few reasons. One of the things that caught my attention right away is one of the zodiac websites that I've been going to through this whole process described Capricorn as the daddy sign with quotation marks around it, and talked a lot about them having a demanding paternalistic energy, wanting to be taken seriously, and generally not being a very silly personality type. So that's kind of what I'm going with here. I wanted him to look a little bit gaunt and serious, like someone that you'd have to try hard to impress, and I also wanted him to look a little bit older than the other characters that I had been drawing for this series. The animal associated with this sign is the mountain goat, so I gave him some cute little mountain goaty horns at the top of his hair, right above his very, very serious expression. I gave him the little constellation face thing that I've been giving a lot of the other characters, and I thought it made him look more fantastical, and I kind of had it cut through his brow too, so it almost kind of looks like an injury or something, I'm not sure. I like his design, but it definitely conflicts with how I drew most of the other characters as sort of cute younger characters, and that's kind of what I wanted. I wanted him to be like the guardian sort of character to the rest of them, and he's actually so different that I could not figure out a way to have him seated in a way that seemed to fit the personality I was going for, so I just had him standing. I'm hoping I'll be able to fit him into the group picture at the end without too much difficulty, but I really tried every which way to have him seated on the ground and have it not look super bizarre or like it doesn't fit his personality, you know what I mean? He just doesn't seem like the type of person who would be seated on the ground like all these other characters. So yeah, it was a real issue for me. I kept trying to put his legs one way or another, and I just could not make it work. The description of Capricorn in general really surprised me because I think deep down I had this sort of belief that every one of the signs would kind of align with the type of person who might be looking up and taking serious the zodiac. So I thought most of the signs would be kind of the same, where they'd be like, oh, you might be someone who's very interested in like emotions and the occult and stuff like that, because I was seeing that in a lot of the signs, and I was like, oh, I see what you're doing here. You're just trying to create a sign that any person who might like the zodiac would probably be really into, so that you have like 100% success rate with the type of person who would like astrology. But with Capricorn, it was not the case at all. This is a very distinct, specific personality type that doesn't necessarily align with the type of person I think who is most likely to be into astrology. So I kind of appreciate that because it feels like there's some real difference between this sign and a lot of the other ones. And I also really like that it's just straight up described as like the difficult to get along with sign, while also being a sign that's described as popular with people. I'm not really sure how that works. I guess there are those people out there who are relatively harsh and hard to talk to, but still are inexplicably magnetic. So maybe that's kind of what they were going for with this sort of sign archetype. Now our very scary Mr. Capricorn is done. All he needs is a name. Leave one in the comments if you can think of a good one. The names I picked from the last video are... I liked Aja for Libra because it is a palindrome and that's perfectly balanced, Ari for Aries, Mimi for Virgo, and Catherine for Cancer. Thank you guys for all the name suggestions. Next up is Scorpio, and this sign really threw me for a loop at first when I was doing my research and I saw that this was the water sign for this episode and not Aquarius. I was really shocked, especially because Scorpions I don't really associate with the water. I mean, maybe a lobster or crab or something, but Scorpions are not really... Aren't they usually in deserts? But anyway, I don't really know why this one is a water sign, but I guess it has more to do with the energy associated with the sign, so let's just go with it. My other assumption about this sign was also totally wrong, which was I expected this sign to be sort of more aggressive or combative, but really the fundamental feature of this sign in general that I kept seeing over and over on every website I checked is that they're super, super, super sensual. There was so much stuff about like romance and like physical like affection and stuff related to Scorpio, so I had to make that a big part of this character. I wanted to make her look very pinup-y, and I hadn't really used this pose yet, so I was excited to get this one in the roster and have this sort of really cheeky character involved in the lineup at the end. So my design for her was focused on these two main things. One, I wanted her to look like a pinup-y sort of character, and then two, I had to involve the Scorpion in some way. I also gave her these pentagram earrings because I saw that Scorpios, more than any other sign, are supposed to be connected to the occult, and I thought that's the easiest mainstream shorthand for that for most people. I tried to give her these little like scorpion tail stingers in her hair, and I think it looks really cute. It's kind of like a horn, but a little bit different, a little more unique than just a standard horn. And I decided to give her a more modern sort of approach on what a very sensual outfit would be, and that is exercise gear. It seems like a lot of people who are taking a lot of more pinup-y shots these days are usually wearing like yoga pants or exercise gear, so I decided to give her that in this shot, and I'm sort of mimicking those kind of yoga pants that you see that have the writing across the top waistband of the yoga pants. And I also gave her those weird little I don't even know what you call it, they're like stirrups basically on the bottom of your feet. Is that what it's called? I don't remember. I just honestly thought that would look cute and interesting. There's no really higher thought process involved in that. And the only colors that were associated with Scorpio are red, rust, and like two other descriptions of red. So I decided to just generally stay in that super warm color palette. Even her skin, though it's relatively pale, is actually just a very, very, very light pinkish red. And then I gave her sort of more pink hair, and then I gave her rust for her yoga pant thing, and her top is red, and then of course her eyes are the brightest red, and then of course I'm still continuing on with the putting the like sign in their eye. I think it really looks quite cool, and again it really helps them all look like they belong to the same series and world, despite having drastically different personalities, body types, all that kind of stuff. She's definitely suffering from a bit of that snake torso syndrome, but I think it works for her okay. Next up is Aquarius, and like I said, it's somehow not a water sign. Aquarius is actually an air sign, and rather than being associated with an animal or something like that, it's associated with the water bearer. I guess the person who would bring water to your community or something like that. She's represented by the Culligan man? I'm not really sure what that means. But since she's an air sign, I tried to focus less on the water aspect and more on giving her a sort of floaty look to her, and that's one of the reasons I gave her this sort of fluffy, floaty hair, and I also wanted to give her a dress that was lighter and more fluffy as well. It does make sense, I guess. Air kind of brings us water. Like when it rains and water builds up in the atmosphere, that's when we get water from the sky. So is this making any sense? I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. So Aquarius is mostly associated with people who are a little bit withdrawn from other people, but they care deeply about the world. It literally described this sign as the social justice sign, so that gave me some idea about which direction to go, as well as saying that Aquariuses are often, like I said, very shy, a little bit withdrawn, have a hard time sort of expressing their feelings and emotions to other people. So this is clearly someone who's more introspective, spends more time thinking about big problems rather than being able to sort of communicate smaller scale personal problems to other people. So I kind of understood that. So I tried to have this little character who seems relatively withdrawn, but also quite intelligent. I didn't want her to just seem like a sort of cutesy character who's by herself just to be cute, but rather someone who's sort of locked into their own little world. It's really hard to communicate all that through just one pose and character design, but I did my best. All the signs are also associated with the different parts of your body. So the one for Aquarius was ankles, and for some reason I did decide to feature that here, even though I'd kind of been ignoring it for the other signs. So I gave her a little anklet, and because her pose was showing off her ankles anyway, I thought I might as well make that part of the design as well. The colors associated with Aquarius are blue and silver, so I tried to focus that around her outfit mostly, though now that I'm looking back on it, I think she'd look really cute with silver hair, so I kind of wish that I had done that, but I'm far in the future now, so there's nothing I can do about it. But I do think that would look very cute. Though, oh wait, I just remembered why I didn't do that, because I didn't want her to look too much like Pisces, who also had dark skin and silvery hair. I just really like that combination, apparently. But yeah, she ended up looking very cute. Her legs look really soft, and I like how they sort of turned out. It made her feet look really small, which are also very cute. And I gave her these glasses just to sort of push forward that like very basic, she's an intellectual, she has glasses kind of thing. And then I just sort of highlighted her, and she was pretty much done. I had to try to fit in the extremely complicated constellation for Aquarius. Some of these are so easy, and then some of them are so like there's just so many points, and they end up getting cut off, but you get the idea. Alright, all you Sagittariuses out there, I know what you're thinking. Why did Lavender Town have to make me actually the last sign to be done? And honestly, I have no real answer for you. I am sorry that you had to be last, but when you see the saucy gent who's representing you, I feel that it all will have been worth it. So Sagittarius is represented by the Archer, and over is described as a sign who loves travel, adventure, and flirtation. All over the place I was seeing that Sagittariuses, while they are loyal once they do settle down, are considered the bachelor sign. So they're known for, hanging out with a lot of different people. And I decided to give him a really obviously saucy sort of outfit. Gosh, I'm saying saucy a lot for not being a food channel. I gave him a cutout in his little cropped sweatshirt. I just thought it would be really, really cute, and I thought that there's a lot of outfits that have a distinctly flirty vibe for girls, not as many for guys, so I decided to just give him that outfit. They're considered so adventurous that I feel like he probably wouldn't care either way, like what department his clothes came from, because he's so super confident in himself. And I decided to give him some long curly hair. I just generally wanted him to look like somebody who would go backpacking just out of the blue, just jump on a plane going out of the country or something like that. These are all sort of the attributes that I wanted him to sort of have glowing forth from this single illustration. And I gave him a super pin-up-y pose, and I also tried to just focus on making him seem pretty confident and cheerful. Optimism was also something that was really associated with the Sagittarius, so that was also something I had to include. Honestly, doing these signs was one of the hardest character design challenges that I've had to do so far, because there is so much that you're supposed to include in each of these characters. Obviously, when you're talking about something that's supposed to represent tons and tons of different people, there's a lot of subtleties and things, and a lot of the time I had to just sort of reduce it down to the easiest to communicate sort of traits, but hopefully over the course of this series I've done a sufficient job representing your sign. I hope that I have anyway. So the color associated with Sagittariuses is blue, which is tough for me because I really wanted to give him lots of brown and warm colors, but in the end I actually kind of like how he looks. He looks like a crazy anime protagonist with that hair, and honestly now all I want is for him to have his own show. I don't really know what the heck it would be about, but he looks like he could carry a show, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like you could get like at least probably like 13 episodes out of this guy without running out of material right away, so that's good. I gave him a really obvious tattoo, like the arrow on the underside of his arm. A lot of people get arrows tattooed on them, so I thought, for the Archer, it just makes a lot of sense. My original idea for his pose was him like holding the bow with his foot and then pulling it back with his hand, but I thought it would look a little too crazy compared to everyone else, and everyone else didn't get a prop, so I felt like it wouldn't quite be fair. But yeah, once he was done, I think he's great. He's got a lot of charisma. He's really glowing, and I really like how he turned out. And I was able to fit most of the actual Sagittarius constellation too, which is nice for a change. So that's it for the Zodiac character design series. Don't worry, I'll still do lots of videos turning random stuff into character designs. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this series. It was really fun for me to do, and I'm always looking out for new ideas. I will be picking names for this video next time I do a cute girls or guys video in the future. So feel free to leave those in the comments, and that will be featured in a future video, even though the Zodiac series is finished. And sorry for any of you guys who wanted me to do the 13th sign. It's too random what people say about it, and honestly I just really liked how easy this was to break into even parts. But if any of you guys want to try drawing the 13th sign to go along with this series, please tag me in that so that I can see it, because I love when you guys add on to these challenges or draw fan art of the characters I design in my videos. It really makes my day and I really love it. So my Twitter and Instagram are in the description if you want to find a way to send that to me. Thank you so much for watching till the end, and I will see you in the next video. Big thank you to all of my patrons, including Bella Story, Kelpompong, Cassitarius, Clockwork Construct, Dionysus, Hagarillis, Dr. Casket, Elizabeth Alvin, Hope Chilsum, Imagine Creation, JJJ, Joseph Copel, Carla Tapia, Cat Did That, Cuted, Megan Claire, Midnight Doodles, Micah Dactyl, Okamore, Ollie, Rome Espinoza, Rosie Warlock, Sergeant Pendulum, The Artsy Moose, Your Boy ST, and Zoe Stardust.